Hold on, it's got an ad break. Okay, yep, I hear music in there. I also hear my voice.
Your repurposed freighter drifts through space. As you stare out at the star-flecked void, another ship comes in. Wait, is this sci-fi? I thought we agreed on a World War II campaign. Oh. Did we? That's cool. I can pivot. The smell of smoke curdles in your nostrils. Hold up, I thought we were prepping for a zombie apocalypse campaign. Alright, here's what we're doing. It's the year 3700. Humanity's elite fled to other planets long ago, taking with them all forms of advanced technology. Earth survivors scrape by with historic tools as weird phenomena plague abandoned nuclear sites. Witnesses report seeing glowing lights and the dead rising from their graves. And amidst the chaos, 3 strangers will meet in a dim bar. A veteran zombie slayer, a disgraced general out for revenge, and a space mercenary sent to investigate the power plants. Now describe your characters. How did you do that? I have the right tools for the job. There's somewhere we need to go. It's been shrouded for so long, there won't be any path for us to follow. The only person who knew the way is gone, but in my dreams, I swear, I've seen it. The mist-shrouded hills, the forgotten halls, the dungeon that never ends. It's like we've been there before, like this story is already a part of ours, like it's waiting for us, at the edge of our imagination. That is where our journey begins.
Trollord Games. Join the fray.
All right, and we are live. I gave you 30 seconds. That's all I could do. You were telling a story. That's all right. Time for some Dr. Pepper. How is everybody this evening? We're here to chat about Castle Zagyg with Luke and Steve. It's going to be a good night. Anyone who's watching right now, we're doing some giveaways tonight for some just some PDFs off the store. So if you're on another platform like YouTube or X or wherever, you'll have to come over here to twitch.tv/TrollordGames. Give us a follow. Exclamation point raffle will get you in. So come on over. And someone get rid of Josh Pop. He's in the lobby. Get him out of here now. Jesus. And that's my spiel. So, Steve, if you want to introduce yourself, and then we'll go to Luke, and then y'all have already met me. So.
Notes of his together to make this thing work. Yep. Hi, I'm Luke Gygax. I'm the son of Gary Gygax, and I have the good fortune of not only being the head of Gygax Inc., which I just rebranded my company Gaxworks into Gygax Inc., as well as the founder of GaryCon, which is happening next month, a celebration of my father's life and works, which has grown into a grand celebration of gaming and a lot of the wonderful founders that we have in our industry. And of course, both Chuck and Steve will be at GaryCon as they usually are. Really looking forward to that. So we're in the crunch. And what exciting news! This is something that Steve, you and I have been hoping for. Is this going back?
Yeah, long time.
Yeah, 15 years maybe.
Long time. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is almost surreal. It's almost surreal, and I know we've talked about that a few times, but this is just incredible that Monday will be kicking off a Castle Zagyg Kickstarter of epic proportions. So I'm thrilled.
It's going to be absolutely epic. So I'm going to let Luke dive into this because I had a question the other day that I did not know how to answer. So just for those of you out there who don't know, Gary Gygax, one of the founders of this hobby, father of this hobby, he played for years and years and years in a series of dungeons in and around a city, and it was called Castle Greyhawk. Now the dungeons, I guess it's the Dungeons of Greyhawk. For legal reasons, they later changed it to Zagyg and whatnot. But so this how do you describe it? This dungeon, this creation has been in that legendary, the Excalibur type thing for decades now. Since the 1970s, we were talking about it. When is Castle Greyhawk coming out? When is Castle Zagyg coming out? And we almost got it. We got a chunk of it out in 2008. And then for whatever reason, things moved on and things happened, and it didn't come out. So, like Luke said, we're back to this surreal moment where we're doing it again. So, I want to throw this question before. I know, Chuck, we got some questions stuck up, but so the question that was asked of me. So back in the 70s, so when this began, so 74, 72, whenever he starts doing that, is Castle Zagyg / Greyhawk, is your dad playing that at that point like a campaign? That was the question I was asking.
Yeah, so this was where we played D&D oftentimes. So we'd be doing one of two things, and it would take place in the world of Greyhawk. So we'd be playtesting modules that would later become modules out there. The first thing I ever played was a version of T1, the Village of Hamlet, and I played that as Otis, and of course that later became published, right? And then Otis went through the Giant series and the Drow series, and those came out. So that if my dad was working on a product, our campaign was that product. However, if you just were picking up a game and playing, you would adventure in the Mad Archmage's castle. Which was, obviously Zagyg created this as for his entertainment and amusement. And there's lots of stuff in there that, no spoilers, but there's lots of stuff in there that is zany. And the explanation is there's essentially a god of chaos, maybe a little bit insane, who built this for his entertainment. And Zagyg would make appearances in the castle and throughout the campaign. It's another whole nother story. How Melf got the spear of Zagyg, which we won't go into at this point in time. But it's embarrassing. I was 12 and I was a very greedy player, but we're going to leave it there.
Question. Can I ask an interject question? Do you remember that very well?
Yeah.
Good. We'll talk about that later. Yeah. I have a thought.
I remember it quite well. But yeah, so Melf got his start adventuring in the first few levels of the castle. And of course, those very levels are going to be in this Kickstarter coming up Monday. So yeah, that was where I cut my teeth as playing Melf. I was solo adventuring a bunch. It's how there's an interesting story as to how I got my henchman Biff through there. But again, don't know if this is the place for it. We want to answer people's questions. There's a ton of entertaining stories, lots of great stuff. I mean, my brother Ernie played through there, Terry Kuntz, Rob Kuntz, Jim Ward, just a host of players from all the way from probably 1973, to be honest with you, all the way all the way into the 80s. We're playing there, and my dad would occasionally, pull out the binder from underneath, a stack of other things or whatever, and run it for people. And sometimes he'd run it as AD&D, sometimes he'd run it OD&D. It really didn't matter. But this was kind of the classic dungeons. It's the original Dungeons and Dragons dungeon that he took inspiration from at points for potentially other things, but he never published this. This was really his home campaign, his home game. And I'm sure there's ideas that, of course, ideas make it go through, twists and turns and come out something else. But this has never been published, and it was his. I mean, he made it pretty clear to both of us, Steve, you and I, that this was something he wanted to get into gamers' hands because it was his magnus opus, I guess is what you would call it. Right?
That's the best way to put it. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And like I said, it took quite a while and a lot of effort to get to this point where we are. And there was a long pause of well over a decade, more like 15 years, more than that, right?
Yeah, it'd be close to 16 years. Yeah.
Yeah. So about just over 16 years for us to get there. And it wasn't time spent idly. We had to work at this for a number of years. But I'll be honest with you guys. I hoped that this day would come.
Well, we all did. I can't even tell you the times, even after I started working for this guy, 8 years ago, we would always, like everybody, oh man, wouldn't that be cool? Someday,
Yeah, but I was gonna say back. I hoped that it would happen, but it wasn't a sure thing. No. But we did it. When I started on this journey, I had no gray in my hair and no beard. So I get an idea of how long it's been. I think Steve had dark hair last time I.
Yeah, it was a whole different thing. I will say this, and we can't go into very much of it, but Luke, for many years, did the heavy pulling quietly behind the scenes to make this happen. So without Luke's amazing effort, this would not be happening. And so this is not only is this great for Troll Lord, because we made promises to Gary a long time ago that we can fulfill. It's great for the community. It's great for Luke and his siblings. It's great for everybody. And getting this stuff out. Magnum Opus covers it. This thing is, I'll go over it in a minute, but this thing is huge. It's huge.
It's big. I just verified what the sizes were, and I was like, wait, how big is it? What is that? And I knew it was, I know it's mammoth, and I knew that it was complex, but it's vast.
It's monstrous. And I will say, Chuck, let's get in the questions just a second, but we have a sign-up page right now. The Kickstarter launches 10 o'clock on Monday morning, and the 3rd, I think that is. And we have a sign-up. We're going to be doing it on BackerKit. Trollord usually does their crowdfunding on Kickstarter. We're doing BackerKit this time. You can see the sign-up page. Chuck's just put it in there. We're closing in on 4,000 people signed up. So, hop on and sign up. If you sign up, you're going to get a free copy of the Ounce Inn, which is an area just outside the city of Yigsburg, which is part of this ginormous thing that we're going to be doing. You'll get a free copy, a PDF of that as soon as we go live or some point in that day. And then there's a raffle, I believe. Chuck, isn't there a raffle for 5 copies of the Eastmark Folio that TLG published, Gary Gygax and Jeffrey Tolanian wrote in 2005? But these are signed by Gary Gygax. We had roughly 100 copies of those. And we still have those in the warehouse. So we're going to raffle 5 of those for those people who, now you have to pledge. You have to sign up and pledge to get into the raffle, but definitely check all that out.
Yeah, pledge will be for the raffle for sure.
It's it ends around.
Oh, I need to, not trying to talk business, but I need to remind, tomorrow we need to talk about that raffle too.
Yep, we got all kinds of stuff we got.
Yeah, I know we do.
It's going to be a busy 2 days.
Yes, it will be.
It's good. So do we have any questions stacked up? If not, I can do a
we have a couple that I want to get out of the way that have nothing to do with this whatsoever, but
all right.
A couple of people, it's Dan. Varsuk asked a couple of questions. It's early on. I told him how to get them for him. So Dan, we will have T-shirts at the con, I believe, at Gary Con.
Yes.
Yeah, we will. And secondly, there is like 15 or 20 Amazing Adventures games this year. We've got, I think we topped off at 120 or 125 events this year. It's our record for us at Gary Con. So
Yeah,
got
if
a
you,
lot of stuff going on.
Gary Con is the con.
Yeah,
It is.
it's our
I'm
con.
not just saying this.
It's not. It's your con too, Luke. It's your con too. But it's our con too,
I mean,
Luke. We love it.
Gary Con has got that. It feels like this gigantic show, but it's a personal. It's still very personal.
Very
You're
personal.
Still,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just great. It's a fantastic.
It's a sweet spot because it's about it's just a touch over 3,000 people.
Yeah.
And that's about as big as we can go. But we aren't. The reason it's as big as we can go is we aren't trying to jam more people into the space like lemmings. It's really governed by how many events we have and how many seats, are available for people to sit down and game. So it's about gaming, and the people who come there really want to be there.
Yeah.
Because it's a small town in southeastern Wisconsin. The nearest airport is Milwaukee at an hour away, and there's no like train or bus line. If you're coming there, you're flying, renting a car, hitching a ride, doing
You can
something.
take the bus to Kenosha, which is still 25 miles away.
And then you could thumb it like it's the 70s and maybe you could hitch a ride. Right? I don't know. So yeah, you really have to make an effort to be there, and it shows because when you get there, the atmosphere is such that even if you walked in not knowing a soul, by the time you walk out of there, you will know a handful of people that you will be able to talk to throughout the year and meet up again at Gary Con, and it just becomes like a family experience. It becomes friends. I mean, I have tons of friends that I've made through Gary Con. It's been very rewarding for me, and I think that experience is shared by a lot of the other people who show up there.
Yeah,
Without
sure. So Steve, I've got one question up front, and then I'm going to let you dive in. Will the new product have something like the sidebars referring to Gary's original dungeon?
Ooh,
No,
I don't think so.
no.
Because it is the original
Gary,
dungeon, right?
Yeah, this is the original dungeon. So
Yeah.
Gary was pretty adamant, and we had back in 05 and 06, we had very long conversations about this. He was pretty adamant that he wanted it. So if you're familiar with T1, that's a great, Luke brought that up earlier, it's a great adventure.
Yeah.
When you look at T1, everything is detailed, right? All of the villagers are detailed. The knight and the wizard, the moat house, everything's got detail to it. And that's what he wanted this project to have. He didn't want his scribbled notes, and some of them. I was going through them. I don't even know what. I know what he said.
I'm not sure what he said either, because this is just if you're working on something and you write a line or two. It's not a sentence, right? But this is what the room is. Here's the stuff that's in it. Treasure this. Right. Well, that will trigger. Oh yeah, this is how it unfolds. This is how the room is. This is how the scenario plays. He had a great memory, so he could do that, and he was very creative. But for everybody else, that would entail 500 words.
Yeah, and it's so he didn't want that, and that's what we want. So we're not going to sidebar it in that. We want this to be an adventure like he envisioned it, which is 100% playable and not a history piece, not something like that. Now maybe later, way down the line, if maybe, but probably not even then. He was pretty adamant. Written in on a Gygax.
So tell us how this is all going to play out.
All right, so I'm going to just do this very briefly. We're going to. I haven't quite decided what kind of diagram we're going to put on because I've explained this so many times, but even like I was explaining it to Grace, our social media manager, again this morning, and I could tell she's still not grasping the size of this thing. And then when I sent the write up to Chuck yesterday, he was like, "Okay, this thing is huge."
Yeah, I was like, "Oh shit, that's a lot of work."
Yeah. So when we say Castle Zagyg, there's two things that we're talking about. One, we're talking about the overall project, okay, the whole thing. But there's also a castle called Castle Zagyg, all right? And the castle Zagyg was the Archmagi's castle within which he lived, and it's big. There's the Manse, which is think of a huge chateau. Surrounded by a gigantic castle walls, and there's two out towers, very large out towers. This is all on top of a berm. On the berm are the Mouths of Madness. So the Mouths of Madness is an entire playable adventure by itself. Beyond the berm is the East Mark. And the East Mark is about, I think it's 25 miles by 25 miles, and it's filled with terrain, rivers, villages, and all of this stuff is written up. It's got weather charts and counter charts, all kinds of stuff. So to roll back a little bit, underneath that castle and underneath that berm are 27 levels of dungeons. Now, technically it's 17 levels, but 10 of those levels have sub-levels. So it's really 27 levels of dungeons all the way down. Now, so you've got your dungeons, castle on top, your environs around that, which is your castle walls. You've got the Mouths of Madness, then you've got the East Mark area, the area play, and then you've got Gary's real passion, the city of Yigsburg, which is this is where you're going to start wherever you want, but kind of the starting point for the games to go. So it's a city of about 25,000 people. It's completely detailed. So just to let you know, this we published in 2005. This is the city of Yigsburg. It's 250 pages. It's about 160,000 words. And it's just chock full of the merchants, the guilds, the mayor, the mayor's bodyguard. It's just all kinds of stuff, tons and tons of stuff. It's got there's the city itself, and then there's the ounce, and the ounce is this kind of a neighborhood outside of the city. That's where the ounce inn is, which will be given away for free if you sign up. So all of that material will boil down into 5 250 to 300 page books. All the books will be full color. We've got in this Kickstarter that we're coming, in this backer kit crowdfunding that we've got coming up, we've got 3 books. The first book will have 2 full fold-out maps. The second book will have 4. Yeah, Chuck's
I was trying to remember. I'm like 4.
Yeah, 4 fold-out maps, and the third book will have 8.
It says you just double it, 248.
Oh well, yeah, there you go. My God, Gary was a genius. Genius.
There we go. Sweet. So we're talking 14 full color, full out maps, and that is going to put us through. So this crowdfunding will have Volume 1, which will be the East Mark, called the East Mark, and it'll be the East Mark and the city of Yigsburg. Volume 2 will be the castle, the Mouths of Madness, the walls around the castle, and those 2 towers. Volume 3 will be levels 1 through 5, plus the sub-levels 3A, 4A. 5A.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
That's the brief overview. And I'll get some kind of diagram.
I was making one earlier in a spreadsheet in Excel. It didn't look very pretty. To be honest with you.
Yeah, I think you can totally do it, because you can have, like, basically here's the environs book, and you just have a city there, Yigsburg would be the city, and then you can have like a map that has the city and, like, forests and stuff like that, and then the castle with a little just the 5, but then like question marks in the lower levels, because as you say, there's 19 more levels to explore of the castle, right? And and it's incredible. And we're talking about, even if we trim it down and are very succinct in what's being said, 750 pages.
Yeah. It'll be fun. When we're done, we'll do another crowdfunding next year. When we're done, it'll be about 750 pages and 27 maps, more than that, but a lot of maps.
And we've got Anyway, go ahead. I was going to interject.
Yeah, no. If anyone has any questions, I can clarify. It's a very large project. I do want to say this up front, and I've been saying this all week. It's not going to be a $25 product.
No, that's what I was getting ready to interject in. I was literally getting ready to tell about the pay over time thing. But you go ahead first.
Yeah, no. I think our buy-in for the 3 volumes was it 180, Chuck, or 2? It's somewhere. It's around 250, 230 bucks. So
right. Yeah, something like it. It's a little bit. But the good news is BackerKit has it built into where you can, and the pledge levels, we've not got them quite worked out yet, but there'll probably be one that'll be under $100, like for PDFs or whatever. But yeah. I think BackerKit, if I looked earlier, the requirement's $100, I think, either 100 or something like that to get in and on the pay over time. So you can actually pay it off in like 4 or 5 months. So that's pretty good,
And that is it's a steal. This is
it is
so much material.
Yeah.
It's so much material, and what we haven't even mentioned yet. Each of these books will be hardcover. They will be in its own box. Yep. So there will be 3 books with 3 boxes, and all the maps will be able to go into the boxes.
That's right. So 3 box sets.
Yeah. Somebody asked, no boxes then? I was going to say, no, actually, there will be 3 boxes. You'll get more boxes than you can get.
It's just there's no way to do the maps without a box.
No, you
Yes.
gotta have them. You got. There's two. When I saw 8, I was like, well, we're doing boxes. There's.
And you're gonna get a better deal by going into the Kickstarter by far than
we're
will
giving-
buying these a la carte.
There is
Yes,
a good discount. The higher the tier, the better. It's good. It's a good one. So first question I have here from Bravon Dark Steel. He has 2 questions actually. One, will the new castle be like the second edition Greyhawk Ruins?
I doubt it. No.
No.
I've never seen it. This castle was actually published in 2008. And I've never seen or read. I know what book you're talking about, but this was detailed and written up by Jeffrey Talanian. It's every room is covered, and there's not. So I think that what Luke said earlier is very telling. I've always kind of pictured these dungeons as like Moria-esque,
Mm-hmm.
and they're not. That's not the way to look at this, because Zagyg was zany's a great word for it, and it not funny, haha, but kind of chaos, haha. That's that.
Yes.
Yeah, that type of stuff. So I think that
you like to sow mayhem and
Yeah.
laugh it and kind of give you a shot, but it would be entertaining if you died in a horrible way that made him giggle and laugh because he was literally insane.
yes. So
Right.
I think that the second edition, and I don't want to fault any great material, I'm sure it is, but it leaned too heavy into the cute and funny. We're not doing that at all.
Right, I got you. Let's see. Next question is going to be from. Oh, it's from him. That's right. He has 2 parts to it. Will the Eastmark be going into aired or its own setting?
The Eastmark is its own setting. We will do a very small piece. This is how you place it in aired and where we suggest that you put it. Obviously, you can put it anywhere you want, but that's the nice thing about the Eastmark. It goes anywhere.
Yeah. And you know what? Really, I think it's about making it your own, whether that you're putting it into your homebrew world, whether it's in Airdy, whether it's whether you're shifting this into another game system and using the original world that my father which is now popular again. You can do that. So
Yeah,
and even Luke, you've got your own setting. You could put it in there as well.
you can put it in Okram as well. That's absolutely. That's in fact, I'll have a setting book coming out in the second quarter that has a whole continent mapped out and some more.
Excellent.
Some more Western, more Western European themed as well as Eastern European themed and Middle Eastern themed in the continent. So it's taking me a little while to get that out there. It is a major undertaking to do setting books, guys. It is a major undertaking. There's so much to detail.
Right.
It's way easier just to run it in a convention and hip shoot it for it's all up here. That's great. Putting it down on paper, oh my gosh, very difficult.
We'll never get.
Yep.
Let's see. This is from Varsuk. Dan, he asks, could we please have extra map books / sheets sold separately so I can use a map and have a clean one to put away? And it would nice also maybe have some, extra maps as add-ons, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, so definitely post-campaign. Well, no, we'll do the add-ons. I keep forgetting. Add-ons aren't just after the campaign. They're in it as well.
Yes.
We're always torn on these crowdfunders. I never want to do add-ons, and Chuck always does the add-ons.
And then I cuss myself for 2 weeks after.
Because it's a whole different
It
ballgame.
sucks. Yeah, it does.
But there will be...
The add-ons are important though because you want to. I mean, this is already a big purchase, right? And so some people might be stretching to be able to do it, right? But then other folks may be like, I want the the Castle Zagyg special dice. I want the T-shirt. I want the extra map set. I want color photos of the main characters. I want whatever it is. All the things that people want.
It's a good thing. I grumble about many things that I shouldn't grumble about.
Oh, we grumble a lot, but that's what we do best is grumble. All right. Let's see. Next question up is how different, this is from Lumix Beast 75, how different will be the version, how different will be this version, how different will our version be over the first Zagyg box set? So,
the first book, Yigsburg, Volume 1 in this one, and Volume 2, which is the castle, will be the same content. This was written by Gary Gygax, so we're not changing anything.
Yeah.
We're going to give it another edit. We're going to do new art, new layout, new maps, all of that. So it'll look, I don't know if you've seen The Hermit. It'll look like, The Hermit was through the roof, laid out beautifully. It'll be given that. The second book, same thing from Upperworks. The third book will have 7 new levels, all new content. It's never been out.
I'm
Yeah.
very excited about all of it. Sadly, I never purchased that stuff. I bought other stuff that we put out back then. 'Cause I was buying
My
stuff.
copy of Everworks is right.
Do what? Oh,
My copy of Everworks is right there.
oh, yeah. So I'm excited because this is all going to be brand new to me. You know, I'm real excited about it.
Yeah, I've got mine up there on the shelf too.
Oh, a bunch of braggarts, both of you. Whatever.
But no, this. I mean, the material, the engine is the same, right? But it's been given a fresh look. It's a new modeling, a more comfortable interior, and sharp, sporty looks.
That's right.
In full color and that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But the first 2 books, you're really getting Gigsburg, Eastmark, the Upper Works, and then pretty much the 3rd book, you finally get below to the castle, to the part that really, the part that I want to go into, right, is the dungeon delve, right? So the rest of it is all kind of, it's important, but this is the stuff that you do outside of your main delve, which is going down underground and kicking things butts and figuring out puzzles and all the stuff that the Archmage has put in there to confound and or tantalize you and figure it out. So it's good times, and that's where the meat and taters are. And then of course it's going to be in 26 at some point, maybe, or 27. We're
hoping the second crowdfunding campaign for the final 2 volumes and the last 19 levels will be in the first quarter of 2026. But don't pin us down.
We're hoping for a year from now, but
yes, we don't want to do is stretch this out over 5 years. This is by the time you get to level 5A, we hope to have level 6. We're ready to go.
At the end of the day, it just boils down to artists. That's what controls the whole world. I've learned is artists. They control the whole planet. Yeah.
I was gonna make a joke, but I don't even want that to come out there. It had the letters A, and the letters I somehow in there. But that's a joke. I don't even want to say those words so somebody can quote me. But yeah.
Boy, that would be too bad it's not April, like April Fool's. God bless, we were doing the whole project.
Art is super important, and it's critical. And getting the right art from the right folks is it can make or break. I mean, some of I think about it, the old AD&D books, the artists, in my opinion, I can barely draw a stick figure. They're very, very talented, but it brought things to life for you, right? Whereas when I look at OD&D books, some of those are, the drawings in there are pretty rudimentary, right? So it's a little harder, but AD&D, some really, there's some skill put there, but enough left to your imagination that you could fill in the gaps, and it really was beautiful. Nowadays, of course, our expectation is that we're going to have really fully fleshed out color, masterwork pieces pretty much on, every couple pages.
Did you see, have you had a chance to look at The Hermit?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Oh my God. I can't get over how beautiful that book is. I was looking at one the other day. I was just staring at it. My wife came up to me, "What are you doing?" I said, "Look at this. Look at this shit."
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful.
Bill Edmonds did that. He did a fantastic job.
It's nuts. But that's a lot of effort. That's a lot of effort from a lot of artists to put something together like that.
It is.
Absolutely. Let's see. Noble Shield asks, so Mouths of Madness isn't the first level? The first level is further in?
Yes, Mouths of Madness is part of the castle. The mouths is actually these kind of cavern-like things. So the castle itself is on this huge berm, several acres of land, and then the Mouths of Madness go into that berm. I'll give you a little bit of teaser. In one of them, you can go into this cavern, and when you pass through it, you go to this Mars-like world that's got, 4-armed, green-skinned people. Which is cool for Trollord because we got the license for Barsoom, so we'll be able to connect Gary's his Mouths of Madness with the actual Barsoom. So
that could be an interesting stretch goal for something. Sorry, I didn't even know we were talking.
So TSR did that back in the day.
Yeah,
they just didn't have the rights to do it.
No. Yeah, I know they pretty much did what they wanted to do. It was pretty funny.
My dad loved Edgar Rice Burroughs' Mars series. He really did. He loved it. He gave that one of the first books. He gave me Conan, Kothar, and Edgar Rice Burroughs to read as a boy.
think I
Really?
remember him telling me the first novel he read was The Moon Maid by Edgar Rice Burroughs. Somewhere I've got that in my head. I don't know if it's true. It just is a marble up there rolling around.
No, he definitely loved it, and of course, was it Tensor that had a couple levels of fighting? I think it was. So Tensor went through
Yep.
there and ended up stuck in a tree fighting carnivorous gorillas, I think, and he did well enough that he got a couple levels of fighter out of the deal because his magic wouldn't work, so he just had a dagger and had to fight from the tree. So anyway, just kind of an interesting aside, but
That's what we need as a stretch reward. We need Tales by Luke Gygax from Greyhawk.
there you go.
Zagyg. Sorry. Damn it.
So Marcella Sepulveda, do my best to pronounce the last name. I like it though; it's a cool name. What percentage is the original notes, and what percentage is added by the new authors, if it's possible to calculate?
Yeah, I mean, so these are just Gary's notes, and we're going off of Gary's notes. So, and Jeff Talanian. So the first volume 1 is 100% Gary. Gary wrote all of that. Volume 2 is Jeff Talanian, and he wrote 95% of it. I'm not sure how much Gary actually physically wrote that. I'd have to ask Jeff. And then volume 3 it'll be Mike Stewart. So these are literally Gary's notes that we're going off of. I don't want anyone to think that we've unearthed a quarter of a million words.
Gold discs buried in the mountains, and they replay it, and it was my dad retelling.
Right,
So,
and just to let you know, we hired Mike Stewart, and Luke and I talked about this months ago. Mike wrote. Not only did he work with Gary on Yigsburg, but Mike has published through us two adventures and Victorious, and his adventures so I'm an old AD&D hound. I love AD&D. I played it up until the point that we started releasing Castles and Crusades, and CSC leaned heavily on AD&D in its development process. Mike wrote. He's the only author I've seen who can really, really write in that AD&D style, which is. Gary was very specific back in 2005 when we started this project that he wanted it to be very much like AD&D. So Mike is just a natural. You can go to our website, Verdant Rage and Shadows of the Halfling Hall, especially Shadows of the Halfling Hall. Shadows of the Halfling Hall, Mike wrote, and it's the only adventure that Mac Golden and Davis Chenault and my other players, the guys who created Castles and Crusades, they got about 2/3 of the way through there, and there were so many traps, so many problems that they just quit. They just quit production. It was so funny. I thought, well, okay,
we're done.
That's some old school, whatever.
Let's see. Question from Bravon Darksteel, as he's known on the internet. I'll see you at GaryCon, buddy. Let's see. So I keep asking Luke and Steve, when can we expect reprints of Gord the Rogue series to start again? And if so, could it be associated with this in some way?
You want me to answer that? I got a little.
Yeah, you've got the answer. We just talked about it today.
Associated with this directly, I think I'd be mixing two different things. So I wouldn't recommend that.
Right.
But bringing back the Gord books, I think, is entirely possible. And I know, Steve, I think you're making some inquiries.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I have contacted the estate attorney, and he is going to put the proposal before court, and then it's up to Wisconsin. That should happen probably early next week. And
yeah, I think they're meeting on Monday.
Okay, yeah. So so we can get, hopefully, and I think it's 30, 45 days or something. I can't remember how long it takes to get.
Yeah.
Something like that.
But I mean, it seems entirely feasible. And what I would probably want to do is not only reprint the Gord books, but then invite some current authors who are influenced by it, perhaps, or who enjoy it, or work in the RPG field, to maybe fill in some of the gaps that my dad left in. And he was here for a year or two or whatever. Maybe there's some adventures. Those gaps could be filled with by other authors, and that'd probably be a lot of fun to see some new Gord the Rogue adventures, right?
That would be very cool.
Let's see. Okay, this is from Diordis. Asks Diordes, where does the Yigsburg book, that the retro reprint we put out last 2 years ago or so, how does it fit in with all the new books coming out? What's going to happen to it?
Well, it'll still be. There's a few hundred left, I think. We'll still have it on the sale on the store. So if you're interested in getting the original version of Yigsburg, it'll be on the store until we sell it.
And then that'll probably be it, though. My guess is once it's gone, it's gone.
It'll be done.
Let's see. I must ask. This is from Marcelo again on YouTube. Any plans for Legendary Adventure reprints? No, I'm joking. But I really love that game.
So it's actually in the proposal with the Gorge stuff, but that would come at the end of the line, and I don't want to denigrate Gary. Loved that game, and Peter Bradley, who's in the stream here, I think worked like crazy. I mean, there's a lot of work went into that game when the licenses were whatever. But Hall of Many Pains before Legendary Adventures for sure.
It was. I mean, Legendary Adventures was fun. So my dad, did AD&D, and then people said it's not detailed enough. So he did Mythos or Dangerous Journeys, right? In the Mythos, which was very complex. And people were like, well, that's way too complex. So then he went and kind of went a percentile system, a little bit simpler and fast, which was your Legendary Adventures. So, I mean, it's not a bad system. It's just not that well known.
Right.
I played it a bunch and had fun. Strix Tanager was my character in that one, so enjoyed playing him quite a bit. But the Hall of Pains, I mean, he did a lot of great adventures that were in Legendary Adventures, but of course, system is less important. But I would say that probably would have to come after King of England, King of France in my stack of priorities. So
really interesting. I didn't know that.
Specifically, he didn't say, I want to see this in Legendary Adventures. He said, I want Castle Zagyg published, and I want King of England, King of France out.
He really wanted that, didn't he? He really wanted that.
Essentially said, I'm not going to live to see this done, but I need you to make sure this gets done.
He was adamant about that.
Wow.
We were
King of King of France, and I mean, maybe it'll be an amazing surprise hot board game at Essen or something like that, and we'll take the international gaming world by storm. But we have to change the colors on the map, Steve. I don't know.
I think it's ironic because I feel like we should just go with his colors now, and now you're saying we got to change the colors.
No. I didn't care for the colors. I didn't care for the color scheme on that one. But hey, why not? I think this is going to be something that's more. I think this is going to be something that's more of a passion project than anything else. So we may as well
for sure. Well, we're making we're completing history. It's
it is a good game. It is a good game. And what Luke's referring to is there was quite a debate about Gary wanted X colors for the map, and we kind of thought it was too bright. I'm not sure what the word is.
Yeah. Too bright.
It was kind of like fuchsia color sort of thing.
Yeah, there was a purple, I remember.
Can you guys take for just a second and just expound on what the board game was? Because some people's been asking, and I really don't know.
As I recall, it's the 100 Years' War, and so you're like Savoy and England and maybe the Holy Roman Empire or something. So you got various people, and he had cards that you would play, and you're trying to take provinces and things like that and amass influence so that you can gain enough power to see, okay, I'm going to be a noble. And generally, the King of England, King of France are the big players, and the other people are kind of supporting. So you'd probably do some alliances and some back and forth that way to see what your victory and achieve your victory conditions. As I remember, we're going back about 20 years. So
that's about right. It's not like a traditional war game where you have chits that you're moving around. It was a whole, feudal machinations type.
I got you.
Yeah, it's kind of like Risk in a war game, sort of. I don't know.
No, it sounds cool actually, and now I'm interested. So I've got a couple. We're going to enter into some rough waters here, Stephen. I've got a couple of questions here. The first one is from Sparky68, so you know who to go choke. What are some of the stretch goals planned?
We haven't laid the stretch goal. We've got a list, but we have to kind of go through those, and then we have to talk through that stuff. So you'll have to dive onto the site on Monday. Find out
what's going on there. Wolf Alone suggests, if possible, a rolled map. One of the maps made from human skin and contained in an orc bone container, possibly. Maybe we could do something like that.
Let's do it.
I mean, we could do a replica.
We can do little bitty maps off of Davis and just kind of cut them. He'll be fine.
Let's see. Torlock72 asked Luke,
Yeah.
what is it that your dad wanted to see come to life most of all, you think?
Oh, I mean, Castle Zagyg. He wanted people to be able to adventure in this and have fun in his original campaign. Gosh, who knows how many people have trod through there? But I mean, it was what hooked a lot of creative folk and really sold them on TTRPGs. So it really set the standard for what a dungeon crawl was, right? Because he was the guy who was running it. People would come and say, okay, how do you do this? And they would play the game. So it's definitely the dungeon, in my estimation, the dungeon portion of Castle Zagyg. Of course, he loved, later in life, he loved doing cities and shopping and filling in all those details of like the not the high adventure, not the hack and slash portions of it. And that's important. But for me, I think the heart of the story, the heart of D&D is the adventure. And it's the overcoming the obstacles, the traps, the puzzles, the creatures, and using ingenuity and team, cooperating with your team, picking up on what their strengths are, working together to create something that's greater than the sum of the parts. And that's really the special part of D&D that makes it so much fun and so funny to play is that group of people around the table and how it shakes out.
Sure. Okay. All right. That's awesome. Okay, well, I know what time it is, so I guess I'm gonna go ahead and do the giveaways for us. I'm gonna drop this into chat real quick. Remember, if you guys have not signed up, please do so now because you'll get in on the freebie, and if you end up pledging, you'll get in on the raffle for the signed stuff from Luke's dad. All right, I'm gonna close the raffle out. So you got about just 2 seconds. If you guys want to carry on the chat there for a minute while I get this.
Well, I can't believe 45 minutes has passed already. It just seems like about 5 minutes.
Yeah, I guess it really does.
And that's what happens when it's easy to talk about this stuff because it's something I'm very enthused about. Obviously, a lot of people are. A lot of passion is going into this. I know Steve and his whole crew have been, it's been like I said, it's a dream come true. This is really a dream come true. And you think about it, it's 16 years. It's a long time, man. It's a long time to kind of be dreaming and building up and to breathe life back into this. Fortunately, my dad wrote tons of emails and notes and everything on what he wanted done because he knew the end was near, right? He felt this coming for a couple of years. Yeah. He really wanted this done. So he had designated, you're doing this, you're doing this, you're doing this. Here's my intent. These are the main points that need to happen. Fill in the fluff, right? Fill in the details, right? But here's the important parts. And so even though my dad wasn't alive to write, all the words in the castle, in the dungeons of the castle, or even in the upper works portion of it, he talked to Jeff. I would hazard, I was going to say daily, but every couple days is probably realistic, if not daily, to give him guidance on that. And so and he was doing that with other folks. And so being able to pull that information up is so important now, 16 years later, to be able to capture what he wanted. Because, folks who went through it as young men and women, it was like 50 years ago, right?
It was a hot minute, as we like to say.
Yeah. So, between 40 and 50 years ago, and some of them are many of them are no longer with us, right? So, so it's a wonderful thing to have those notes and of course the comments and stories of other folks, whether that's Jim Ward or my brother or something like that, who was just a kid going through it, 15. But yeah, it's pretty amazing. So thankfully, my dad was a skilled writer, great memory, and really wanted this. And he just spit out a ton of info. And Steve, I think you were telling me, like, I think I remember I got a text message from him. He's like, like, holy smokes, your dad was a genius. I'm just reading through all this stuff, and I can't. I'd forgotten we had reams and reams of all these notes that he'd given us. So it was pretty cool.
So what's funny about that, because Luke's spot on. I've gotten into the files over the past, ever since it broke a few months ago, 6 months, 8 months ago, whatever it was. And I had just forgotten the volume of just information that he was sending both to me and to Davis and to Peter Bradley, because Davis was taking maps and kind of sketching them out to go to Peter. So Davis was getting tons of emails. Jeffrey Talanian was getting, and then there was another like 8 or 10 guys that were working on other products. There was so much information coming out of Gary. And then when you get into it, Mike and I were talking about level 3 the other day. Mike said, well, I'm not sure. He wrote, I don't give anything away, but there's this note. And I said, dude, you got to put that in there. That I know it sounds crazy, but you put it in there. And there's this level that you can see in Gary's creation. And I just want to point out, there's two facets to Castle Zagyg, to the whole material. One, there's part obviously very important to Luke and to myself. There's the history of this thing. It's rooted as deep into our hobby as the dungeon is deep itself. I mean, it goes from 70 to today. But the other side to it is this is an extraordinarily kick-ass setting and dungeon. And whether you give, and I know a lot of you out there could give a rat's ass about history, about any of that crap, this stuff is cool. I mean, this is one highly playable adventure. It's deadly, so we're not pulling him back on any of that. For those of you just go read it. You people, mine and Luke's age and Chuck's age know death in those days was not uncommon. We're not pulling any punches, but it's fun. It's just cool. I mean, it's just cool.
So you're saying Castle Zagyg is the murder hobo? I got you. He kills the player.
It may be. Approach with caution. That's what we're going to put on the cover. Approach with caution. So.
All right, so let's get these giveaways done and get out of here real quick. I want to say one thing. We just started up the raffle thing, or the early bird giveaway a couple days ago. We've almost got 1,000 people have poured in on it. I just checked. We're almost at 3,700. We're just about 300 shy of 4,000, but I think we'll get there over the weekend for sure.
Oh yeah, we'll get there
because the community is just crazy.
Tell your friends.
Yeah,
spread the word.
Spread the word. All right, let's get these done. I'm going to pick a winner. Our first winner is going to be, now a link will come up in case you've never gotten giveaways for this before. It'll take you to our Discord. Just pop in there and message, or just tag someone, ask for Obsidian Risk, or someone will help you and they'll get you the code. He's the keeper of the keys, so to speak. First winner will be, it's going to be Sundance Kid. Oh, look at you winning. You've won before. And you know how it works. Congrats, Sundance. Congrats. Next winner, I'm doing 5 giveaways real quick. We're gonna do Manfred Von Beck. Manfred knows the deal on that. Awesome. Third winner is gonna be Death, saying, "Oh, you just won the other day. Great, good job, Death." Death's always waiting when I come in here to set the streams up. He's always waiting. He's a good man.
Horrible. Death is always waiting.
Well, all right. Sorry, that did sound bad. Looks like, what the hell? Anyway, next winner is going to be Brevard Darksteel. Look at that. Look at you, Mr. Bradley. All right. And last but not least, Donkey Juice. Congrats. All right. Awesome. Fantastic. I'm going to set up a raid. We're going to be raiding into Jay Scott and Lord Gasumba. He's running his, he's doing something over there tonight. I forget what. It's Wednesday, isn't it? I'm off my game. So we're going to set up a raid to him then right now. And then we'll get out of here.
So he's doing something.
Always doing something, that guy. You got to keep your eyes on him. He's
a shady fellow.
Shady fellow. That's exactly right. You gonna work? Interesting.
Thank you, Sparky. Thank you all for coming out tonight. We appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, guys, for coming out. This has been awesome. All right, what is going on here?
We never know.
Okay, it worked.
It just seems to be a never-ending flood of chaos.
Never-ending flood of chaos, and we love it. We love it.
I think the Archmage is here in the troll dens.
Oh God, he probably is.
He's taking up residence.
Yeah.
All right, well, folks, thank you so much for coming out, and we'll see you during the Kickstarter. We'll be doing a launch party and some other good stuff, so just watch the socials, and you'll see it all going on. And hey, thanks. Have a great weekend. We'll be back tomorrow evening to do our weekly employee stream where we get on here and just listen to Davis and then ran on, and I just sit in the corner. So come by for that. All right. And go give Jay a follow when you get over there. He's a good guy, somewhat. Y'all have a good night. We'll see y'all. Trolls